For 10,000 years, no human being on this planet has ever died from disease. No plagues ever swept across continents. No pandemics reshaped society. And medical science never had a reason to exist. This is the story of a humanity unrecognizable to us. A world shaped not by sickness, but by survival without limits. In a world without illness, the population rises with unstoppable force. Every child survives. Every generation doubles. Hunter-gatherer bands grow crowded after only a few seasons. The forest that once seemed endless suddenly feels small. Space runs out. Food runs out. And humanity is pushed thousands of years early toward permanent settlements. By 7000 BC, while our own history still lingers in the age of simple villages, this alternate world sees its first megacities. From above, they appear as vast clusters of mud-brick towers and sprawling markets. Smoke rises continuously from early bakeries. Irrigation canals carve straight lines across the earth like veins. Tens of thousands gather in spaces meant for hundreds. Humanity learns quickly. To feed a crowd is to control it. Agriculture accelerates at a breathtaking pace. Land is cleared not over centuries, but in decades. Giant communal fields stretch far beyond the horizon. Early engineers build earthworks, dams, and reservoirs bigger than anything in our world's Neolithic age. Because feeding people is no longer a task. It is civilization's greatest battle. By 5500 BC, in the Tigris-Euphrates basin, a supercity appears. A metropolis of 3 million souls. 60 kilometers of defensive walls coil around it like a stone serpent. Inside, neighborhoods stack upon each other, rising like terraced hives. Massive public granaries store mountains of grain. And in the center stands a palace complex older than any kingdom in our own world. Humanity, even in this age, learns bureaucracy, law, command. Not because of ambition, but because millions of voices demand order. Writing emerges 1,000 years earlier than in our timeline, not as art, not as poetry, but as survival. Every bag of grain, every conscript, every boundary stone must be recorded. Clay tablet archives expand until whole buildings serve as libraries. Civilization does not walk forward. It sprints. Population pressure creates new needs, new fears, new rivalries. Borders collide like storm fronts. By 4000 BC, armies number in the hundreds of thousands. Bronze spear walls stretch for kilometers. Giant wooden siege towers twice the height of anything in our real Bronze Age roll across battlefields. War is no longer a dispute. It is an institution. By 3000 BC, the world map becomes a mosaic of superpowers. Huge empires rise like tectonic plates, crushing smaller cultures between them. Trade routes span entire regions. Stone highways connect megacities. Messenger runners travel in relay teams day and night. Every empire watches the others constantly, like predators circling a watering hole. In 2500 BC, a single empire rules 40 million people, a population size our world would not reach for thousands of years. Its streets overflow with merchants, soldiers, and laborers. Cities sit so close together that torches on one wall can be seen from another. Continents begin dividing into cultural blocks. Massive civilizations defined by color, symbol, and dynasty. Each block holding hundreds of millions. But by 1200 BC, bronze technology hits a wall. There is simply not enough metal, not enough fuel, not enough land to sustain the ever-growing masses. Scarcity becomes the shadow that haunts the world. And then iron arrives. Cheap, resilient, miraculous. Iron tools transform farmland. Iron weapons transform war. And every conflict becomes larger than the last. As the ancient era progresses, the world population reaches 1 billion. Empires dwarf Rome's size eightfold. Road networks span continents like spiderwebs. Aqueducts stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Terraced farms climb entire mountain ranges. Bureaucracies grow into institutions with tens of thousands of scribes. Passports, census systems, official seals, all invented millennia earlier than in our world. Because managing human crowds is no longer optional. In the Middle Ages, there is no collapse, no dark age. Knowledge does not fade. Instead, Rome-like states persist and evolve for thousands of years. Their armies march in perfect mechanical formations. Their populations grow like rising tides. The only constant threat is hunger, the eternal enemy of a world without disease. Agriculture becomes the engine of survival. Early mechanical tools spread across continents. Wind turbines turn on distant plains. Water mills carve valleys into machines. Crude tractors, powered by animals and gears, begin reshaping landscapes. Farming becomes industrial thousands of years early. By this era, armies number not in hundreds of thousands, but in millions. As the modern age approaches, population pressure becomes unbearable. The Industrial Revolution ignites centuries early. Steam engines roar across cities of stone. Massive factories belch smoke into eternal dusk. Entire fleets of hot air balloons patrol the skies. Airborne scouts report troop movements from the edge of visibility. War no longer belongs to the earth alone. By the 1700s, monumental airships dominate the clouds. By the 1800s, railways stitch continents together like iron threads. By 1900, the world population reaches 10 billion. Cities glow at night like oceans of embers. And at last, humanity faces a truth it can no longer ignore. This planet is not enough. Famine spreads silently, like a shadow that touches every shore. There is no disease to thin the population. No natural reset. Humanity continues to grow endlessly. So a new dream begins. A dream of escape, of expansion, of worlds beyond this one. By the 2000s, humanity builds megacities on the Moon and Mars. Orbit becomes crowded with stations and shipyards. Terraforming drones reshape valleys. Martian agriculture blooms inside crystal domes. Earth breathes, but only for a moment, because the population still rises. In a universe without disease, humanity is crushed not by death, but by its own success. This is not a world of healing. This is a world of excess. Not a world of tombs, but of endless crowds. And in this story, humanity becomes the greatest threat to its own planet.